video, we are checking out the Red Rock full upper replacement grille with the LED off-road light bar, fitting all 2019 and newer Ram 1500s, excluding the TRX models. Now, if the factory grille isn't suiting your style anymore and you're looking to take a more unique approach to front end styling, this is going to be a great choice to consider. Along with sporty details and the dynamic look, this includes off-road lighting on the front for a functional touch, helping with front end visibility and a more modern feel if you want more than the standard grille replacement. Now, the biggest feature of this grille is the styling. It's going to add a darker and more dynamic look to the front. It has larger openings and a more detailed center bridge here that's going to house those LED lights. Now, this also takes that dark look, deleting the chrome from the grille for a stealthier appearance, and it's going to match well with other black accents that you already have on your Ram. The large gaps will also help with airflow, and the lights will help the front end light output, not only being a stylish addition to the truck, but also one that's going to help functionally. Now, the 6 off-road LEDs in the center have a projector designed to throw light farther in front of the truck and make the beam consistent, which is going to help the headlights and fog lights, especially useful on dark remote roads or even dark trails at night. Now, the majority of this grille is made of an injection molded ABS plastic material, making for a direct bolt-on fit, and it's going to be tough for an exterior component. Now, ABS is commonly used for exterior panels like this because they're light but rigid, so this being on the front of the truck is going to hold up well to any pickup, debris from the street, and any lighter impacts if you do take your truck off-road. Now, the grille also comes in a matte black finish, which will look tough on its own, as you can see here on the table, but it is paintable if you want to customize your Ram further, as long as you take the right steps for the prep and paint process. Now, the lights are also built well with a tough plastic lens and an aluminum housing for optimal projection as well as heat management. This also includes the extended wiring that you need on the back for installation, which we will show you here in just a minute. This is about $325 compared to others in the category, and that's going to be fairly average for the price. This has a few unique features that make this stand out from the rest, like the lighting and the overall styling, taking a more unique approach rather than taking inspiration from factory trims or other factory-style grills. Now, unlike other choices with no lighting or even DRL, the specific choice takes it a step further and helps with the light output, which is also a great addition to the build, making it a great choice if that's specifically a feature that you're looking for in a grille replacement. Install for this is a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, being pretty simple. Now, the wiring is going to be the hardest part, but really isn't intimidating at all, since you just are going to be tapping into existing wires with the included connectors in the kit. All in all, it should take you about 2 hours or so to get this mounted and wire it off, and I'm going to kick it over to one of our installers here to show you exactly how that goes down step by step.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, a ratchet, wire strippers and crimpers, scissors or diagonal cutters, flathead screwdriver, some zip ties, 8 and 10 millimeter sockets, some T-taps and nail spade connectors, zip tie clips, and a test light. What's up, guys? Today we're installing a front grille on our Ram. First, we're going to watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove your grille as well as your headlights, because we will need to get into those wires. Once we watch that, I'll meet you right back here for the install.
So for this install, you're going to need to pop your hood, remove your upper rad cover, the grille, and some of the surrounding trim. It's a pretty simple process. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. So let's get started. So we're going to start by removing our upper rad cover. There's a bunch of plastic clips that need to be removed. So I'm going to use my plastic clip removal tool and pop the heads of them open. And then once I get those all removed, I can pull the panel off. And we're going to pull this panel right off. The next piece we need to remove is the headlight trim and grille trim here on the top of the vehicle. It's a combination of a pop clip and 10 millimeter screws. So I'm going to use my clip tool once again and a 10 mil socket to pull all of these out, and then I can just remove this piece from the vehicle. Next, I'm going to use my 8mm socket to remove some of the screws here on the inner wheel well and pull the liner back to expose a little bit more hardware that's hiding behind the liner so I can get this panel off that surrounds the headlight. So now that I have the liner pulled back, I've exposed this 10mm bolt here inside the wheel well liner, and I'm going to use my 10mm on a ratchet and just pull that out. Now I'll just repeat this process on the other side. Next, I'm going to need to remove my grill. There are 3 10mm bolts at the bottom of either side of the grill, and there are 4 across the top. I'll just use my 10mm socket on my small impact gun, remove all of those screws, and pull the grill off. So now that I have my grill removed, I can go ahead and start unbolting and unhooking my headlights. I have a clip here at the top as well as a 10mm bolt, and then I have a 10mm bolt here on the side from the fender, and I'll just use my 10mm socket and my clip tool and pull those out, and then I can unhook my headlights. It's a little hard to see, but I'm just going to unplug my headlight connectors from the back. Just push down on the tabs to release them, and then you can pull the headlight out.
So now that we have our grill removed, we're going to have to separate this inner skin from our grill to swap it over to our new one. We've got a bunch of 8mm bolts around here that will take an 8mm socket to remove, and then we have a couple tabs that we're just going to have to release to pull this out. So now take that 8mm socket and just work your way around the outside, pulling these bolts out. Now those bolts removed, we just have all of these tabs running around the edge of our grill. So we're just gonna push those in and then pull to separate. You can use a plastic pry tool for this as well, but it's not that hard to get in there with your hands. Now the ones in these recesses are a little bit more difficult to get into. And then you can remove that skin. So now I've got our new grill here. We have the wiring for our lights. I'm gonna be running this towards the driver's side. I'm gonna go in between these 2 screw posts because we do have a little raised up portion there on our inner skin. So once you have that run the way you're gonna run it, you can drop that inner skin down. And then just start getting all of your tabs lined up. And then you can push it together. And now just start running in those 8mm screws. Make sure your wire's in the correct spot before you tighten these ones down. Now, last thing we need to do before we install this onto the truck is just tidy up our wire and get some connectors crimped onto the ends of our wire. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. You can use these little stick-on zip tie clips. You just stick this down onto the plastic, and then you can run a zip tie through it to tie your wire down. Or if you don't want to go out to the store and get those, you can use just regular tape and tape it up. I'm going to be doing this zip tie clip method. So I'm just going to stick a couple of these down. And then grab your zip ties, just feed those through those holes. And then just drop your wire in there. Tighten down your zip tie. Take a pair of scissors or diagonal cutters. Cut off the excess of your zip tie. Now, as for our wiring, we have a positive and a negative. This is going to go to our daytime running light switch. Now, there's a couple different ways you could do this. The way I'm going to do is by using a T-tap and a male spade connector. On the body harness side, you're going to put the T-tap around the wire. You'll close it up and it'll cut into that wire to make the connection. On the harness side for the grill lights, I'm going to be putting a male spade connector. So I'll crimp that on, and then this will just slide right into the T-tap just like that to make our connection. So I'm going to take my wires and strip back a little more lead. And then just twist that up. Slide your male spade connector onto that wire. And take a pair of wire crimpers to crimp down on it. And just give it a little tug, make sure it's nice and secure on there. And then do the same thing for the other one. So now we're going to come over to our headlight bucket and grab our daytime running light connector. Now I've got our daytime running lights on inside the truck. So I'm going to take the ground side and put it to a bare metal bolt, ideally. And then we can probe inside the connector, figure out which wire is our power. Now I've got it lighting up on that white wire. So the white's going to be our positive, the black's going to be our negative. Now we already have T-taps on these wires from a previous install, but all you're going to do is just put the metal fork of the T-tap over the wire and then grab a pair of pliers to pinch on it to close it down. And then you can install your male spade connectors. Now I'm going to go back in the truck, turn the daytime running lights off so we don't have any power to these before I plug them in. So now take your wire harness for the grill. We're going to plug the red wire into the T-tap on the white wire, and then we're going to plug black to black. And now I've got our grill sitting on a table next to me so that I have the wire around where it'll be, so I know how much I need to zip tie to get out of the way. Now I'm just going to bunch this up. I'm going to leave myself a little bit of slack that I can tuck away, but it won't be enough to get in the way of anything. And then take a pair of scissors or diagonal cutters, cut off that excess. And then we can grab our headlight, plug your daytime running light connector in there and your main connector at the bottom. And now slide your headlight into place. I'm just going to thread my bolt in up top. And then we've got the one at the side as well. So now thread your other bolt in at the side. And then just get your headlight into position and tighten both of those bolts down. Now we can line up our grill and slide it into place. And I'm going to get that upper trim here too, and we can put the bolts in for everything up top together. Now slide your upper trim into place as well, and we'll reinstall all of those bolts. So now we'll start reinstalling all of the bolts at the top of the grill. Now work your way across, tightening all those down with a 10mm socket, and then we'll grab our radiator cover. Now we can lay our radiator cover back on top, tuck in the sides, and then reinstall all of your push clips. Now we'll come to the bottom corner of our grill and reinstall our 3 bolts and then put our cover back on. The 2 longer bolts are going to go on the 2 inner holes, and the shorter one's going to go into that U-clip. And then take a 10mm socket to tighten down all 3. And then just line up the tabs on your cover, pop that into place. So now we can come back to our wheel well. Now there is that bolt that goes right here. You're gonna thread that in through the fender liner, and then you've got this little slot here where you can get a ratcheting wrench in there to tighten it down. I would recommend an S wrench. You got that bend so you can get more angle out of your wrench. Now ours has gone missing, so we don't have that. So we're just gonna reinstall these 2 screws that we took out of our fender liner. And then grab your 8mm socket and tighten those down. And then repeat that same process on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Red Rock full upper replacement grille with LED off-road light bar for your 2019 and newer Ram 1500, excluding TRX. Thank you for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.